James, my Siri, y'all. Today I have such an amazing guest. He is a public speaker who has spoken on the most influential stages such as TED Talk. He has held seminars that have changed people's lives and wrote a book to give you the blueprint on this life thing and how to practically better your life right now by unplugging you from the things that are holding you back. This man is a successful entrepreneur with no chemistry background but still managed to conceive a product called Lohocla, which is an anti-hangover beverage being sold at airports and pick and pays. He has accomplished all this through a strong vision and the skills which you would like to come and share with us today. Please help me welcome Master Louis. Master Louis, welcome.
Good afternoon. Sup, James. I'm happy to be here. Let's shoot. Let's get it.
Truly appreciate it, man. So I literally got lost in your world. I truly loved just researching about you and all the stuff that you was saying. And I think a good point to start would be your book, The Master Code. What is the Master Code and its 3 pillars?
The mastery code.
Yes, sir.
So it's not master code, it's the master.
Mastery code.
The mastery code basically is just a philosophy of life that I've kind of created because I realized that, as I always tell people, that we were taught to live life in defense mode, and no one has given us a philosophy of life that teaches you how to live life in attack mode, right? Because we were like basically these beings coming to life, and then we got like filtered and like narrowed down into like these thin, narrow kind of like tunnels, and then we became smaller than what we actually are, right? But everything inside of you is like telling you that, bro, you're a beast. Like, you can tell there's something about you, because that's why we're drawn to winners, right? Why are we drawn to winners? Like, no one has a soccer team and says, I wish my team loses today. You know what I mean? You're drawn to winners. And when who you're backing doesn't win, you get upset. Which means something innate with you is saying that you're a winner, but it's like you don't identify with it. It's always an out-of-body experience. Someone else must win, but you don't know you don't know what that is. You know what I mean? For yourself. So as a result of that, we operate at a very low level of what we actually can achieve, at a very low level. And, you know, it's just a thing that I realized, that no one prepared us for life and no one let us know what we're actually capable of, you know? And so I went on a journey with my life. I went on a journey for the last decade or so, discovering myself, you know, taking major risks, you know, going against the grain, you know, even though I had a whole degree from VITS, but I went against the grain. I was like, actually, I see it. I did economics, but let's do something else. Let's see what we can do, right? And that was all because it was all instinctive. It was all coming from within. But then as time went on, because obviously while you're building something and you're building a company, you're building things, it takes some time and you spend a lot of time alone. And that was the first time I was by myself, and I discovered things. I discovered knowledge. I discovered wisdom from the ancient text, man. Like I saw recurring information. I was like, wow, okay, cool. And I applied things. So the book was basically me giving back the keys. The book is about giving back the keys. So I did it. I left Egypt, went through the desert, got to the promised land. Now I'm like, oh, this is how you get out the desert, bro. This is how you get out the desert. This is how what it looks like, what to deal with. And it's the real shit, not like the kumbaya, you know, rub the genie lamp 3 times. It's like real practical, like truths, like hardcore truths that are quite painful to accept, but it's the truth of what it is. And that's what the book is about. So it's based on 3 pillars: self-mastery, money mastery, and purpose. Because first you must master self. You must know what your story is. You must know what your vibe is. You must define yourself. And then my whole book is designed, I aspire to freedom. And the whole thing, my book, is that it's all about, the second part of which is money mastery, is that you have to get rich. It's like a law, because you know, you're not a person who breathes oxygen and then there's a lack of oxygen. It's always abundant. It's always there, right? And it's not to jump into abundance and whatnot. It's just to say that you don't want to live life with limitations. So you have to build something that makes you rich, because only then are you able to be free enough to make your own decisions and your own contributions to life, right? Which taps into purpose. You know, once you get rich enough, once your cup runneth over, floweth over, only then can you contribute, because you have to contribute from an overflowing cup, right? So the whole thing is that you have to tap into your purpose. Your purpose has to force you to contribute and to add to something greater than yourself. But you can't do that if you're broke. You know what I mean? You can't
Yeah,
do that if you're broke.
100%.
You can't do that if you're getting by. So you have to get rich. Like it's a philosophy of saying, get rich first, bro. Figure yourself out, get rich out of that, then contribute to society. That's really what my book is about. Because otherwise, what's the point? You only live here once. Like if you live twice, it's one thing where it's like Super Mario, you get 2 lives and you die one and you come back and it's like great, But real life, you only live once, right? So you have to make this shit work. You have to make it count. That's really what it comes down to. So my book is like, it's aggressively on attack mode, but it's more about things you have to apply. It's not just things you read and it's like, oh, here it is. Like you have to apply it. Like it's real shit to apply.
That's amazing, man. I love it. And one of the pillars you talk about is purpose. And I'm a big believer, and you speak about it, of somebody being unique, right? And someone shouldn't be an accountant because society says it's a good thing, or their dad says they should be an accountant. They themselves must find their own purpose. In the book club, a lot of people, if I were to ask them what's their goal, they can't tell you a 6-month goal, 10-year goal, anything like that. How does someone discover their purpose? How does someone find what their purpose is in this world?
So, a lot of people will say, okay, you have to discover your purpose. But the thing is, it's not necessarily it's something that you discover. It's something that you kind of allow. You're here, you live life, and as it is, you're born into an environment, into a place. You meet your friends, you go to school. Your life is built around your environment, right? And you eventually discover things as you grow up. But as you grow up, there's going to be things that basically you're drawn to. There's going to be topics, subjects, fields that you're drawn to, right?
Yeah.
And these don't necessarily have to be making fields, but there's certain topics and subjects that you're drawn to. And so those things draw you without you having to even go there. You don't need obligation to get there. So you just keep, it's like if you like music, you just happen to be drawn to music. So you listen to music, you're about instruments, you take yourself to where those interests find you, right? Now, the thing is, for you to tap into purpose, it's what you obsess over, right? So what it is becomes, it's almost like you have a deep need to express something within yourself. And that ultimately is what unlocks the purpose within it, because the purpose is always aligned to frustration. So it's like, if something in society frustrates you, you're going to want to change that thing because it frustrates you because you keep encountering it, right? If something inside of you, if you not playing music frustrates you, you're going to make it a point to play music and to express yourself via music. It's like writing, it's like whatever it is, it's always within, but it's frustrating, right? So it's like me, I didn't write my book. My book wrote itself through me.
Amazing.
Okay? It doesn't make sense for me to have gotten this thing done and went through the stress of doing it. Why would I do that? It doesn't make sense. I mean, I'd rather, like, the brain is wired to keep you in comfort. It doesn't want anything difficult. But here I was able to go above it. So purpose is not something that you discover. It's something that you are aware of, you're drawn to, but at the same time, it frustrates you into action to change something or to contribute or to express something, right? But at the same time, whatever that purpose is tied to must be cultivated. And this is very important. The word cultivate is very important because it's in agriculture. It must be tended to. You don't just wake up one day and then all of a sudden you're in purpose, like, boom, here I am. It's something that you keep cultivating. So for me, I am where I'm at today and doing the interviews I'm doing, speaking to you, not because of the fact that I started yesterday. I've been doing this for 10 years, 12 years, right? But here I am. I've cultivated something. I've cultivated a way of thinking. I've cultivated something that is now expanding beyond just me. But I obsess about people reaching their maximum potential, not because I want that, but because I did it. And I was like, wow, oh, wow. Because what I'm doing right now versus what I previously thought I was capable of doing is two different things. Like, it's two different things. Like the person I was before versus who I am right now, two different people. But how did I do that? I can't keep quiet about that. It's like I found the keys. I was like, okay, I found the keys. Why would I keep this to myself? So that's why I'm driven by that. I'm driven to create. I'm driven to build. I'm driven to improve society. I'm driven to see people improve. And that's what it comes down to. So your purpose is always tied to your frustration. So what makes you mad, you were born to solve. Something like that.
And that's amazing. Would that also apply to gifts? Because I know in the money mastery pillar, you tie that to gifts. I think there's a beautiful quote you say, if you don't produce anything or express anything, you can only be proud of what you consume. So
Yes.
would the gift just be found through you, or is it something that you discover, or it's like same boat as purpose?
No, but that's what I'm saying, is that you have innate gifts. You're endowed with gifts and talents. So if it's something that you're given and you discover as time goes on. So it's like, for me, some people realize at age 3 or 4 they can sing, right? That's like a talent. Like that is life telling you have a place in this world, because you can sing. I can't sing. I always envy singers. I'm like, wow, bro, like I sing in the shower by myself, but there it is, right? But I found my gift as time went on, but my gift was hidden. It was like I always got demerits in school for talking a lot and disrupting class. But what they called a problem, it was actually a gift, because I didn't know I could get paid for opening my mouth. I didn't know that, right? But it's you know what I mean. But the gift is only the thing that transmits the purpose. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The gift is not the purpose. The gift just transmits the purpose. So the purpose is one thing, but my mouth is the piece that transmits the purpose. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm a singer, the purpose is, if I'm supposed to sing and I want to sing and I desperately add creativity to music, my voice being able to sing is the transmitter. The gift is a transmitter of the purpose. If that makes sense. So that's basically what I'm saying. That's the keys right there.
And I think that perspective is such a game changer in terms of how someone can allow their purpose and their gifts to work for them. But I'm just thinking of someone in my book club who's particularly within an environment. They know that their mind is the way for them to get to where they are from now to where they want to be. But they're in an environment, they're in a family that can't say 5 sentences without saying anything negative, whether it's too big, it's too small. They just love complaining, and they acknowledge that they're in a negative environment, but they can't seem to break out of this because of some sense of loyalty of some sort. What would you say to someone like that?
Well, you got to cut them out. That's the truth, right? What people don't understand is that you want to do the specific thing. So you want to go, and here you are, you want to go and you want to do the specific thing, right? So it's not necessarily, I mean, cutting out is just, it's drastic, but it also is true, because what people don't know is that almost maybe 95 to 98% of who you are, what you are, who you associate with, and where you are right now is totally incompatible with where you want to go, right? So you can't carry all the things and all the people that you're with. You can't carry everybody. So you have to make a decision. Like, somebody has to win, someone's going to lose. So if you decide to stay there, I mean, it takes you energy to do what you want to do. You also don't want to allocate energy to having to fight off people telling you can't do it.
Right?
So
okay.
So it's a thing of saying that you have to realize that where your friend finds himself right now, obviously he might be in school, obviously he might be wherever he is, but his first objective right now is to move out. That's the first objective. You can't change people, you have to move out. There's nothing, you have to physically remove yourself. So it's like, if you were living in a place where, you know, it's counterintuitive, like, you know, like it's too hot or it's too cold, it's just a terrible place. You don't change the place. Sometimes you have to just move your body, bro. You have to just get yourself out of it. So his first thing, forget about complaining about them, is accept this is how people are, and to move yourself. Don't try to change people. No.
And so when the individual separates himself from the negative environment and now is by himself, but his subconscious mind has been programmed for 20-something years, 30-something years with negative habits, with negative patterns, with a negative perspective. And the mind has been poisoned, if you allow me to say. How does one by themselves, what habits or what actions can you do to break such powerful habits that have been there with you for 20-something plus years? What do they do? What do they start doing now?
Well, there's nothing really that you can, I mean, there's a lot of things people say. People will say, oh, you know, have your affirmations, have your vision board. And that's true. I guess you can, you know, keep telling yourself every single day that you're happy, whatever. But the truth of the matter is this, is that the moment you remove yourself from those influences, you're going to become a whole new individual. You're going to evolve into a whole new individual, because now you're not exposed to that thing anymore, right? So it's going to take time, okay? But what you do need to have, however, before beyond anything else, you have to have a vision that you're working towards. That's it. Forget about how you feel about it. It's like, if I leave Egypt, and I leave Egypt, and I say, Egypt, thank you, it's slavery, I hate slavery, I leave Egypt, okay? Then I find myself in the desert. Now, if I'm in the desert, I can have my affirmations, I can have my journal and I can, my rabbit's foot and I can scream and chant every single day. But if I don't have a destination, right, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm not going anywhere. Do you get what I'm saying? So the vision that you have, or the destination of where you're trying to go, right? So it basically it replaces the not necessarily that it replaces, but let me say it makes the pain of the journey more like it's not necessarily enjoyable, but it's more you're more accommodating to it because you know you're going somewhere. But if you aren't going somewhere, then why did you leave Egypt in the first place? You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So the whole thing is that I wanted to build a company. I wanted to build freedom, and I said I'm leaving all these things behind. I said I'm leaving this whole life of me building my own or me going to do this or work for this company. I said I'm letting go of this because I want freedom. I know what I want, right? And in that, I went and I was like, I wanted to invent a product that I didn't know how to do. I had no idea how to do it, but I was like, let me invent this product, right? And over the years, because of my excitement of the journey of where I was trying to go, it brought me through all the things I had to go through that I feel shit. Yes, I did all the time. But here I am today. I've done all these things, but I am not in Egypt anymore, nor am I in the desert, because I had a vision. So there were days when I felt horrible. There are days that obviously people around me were negative. My whole life, people were negative, maybe sometimes. But the whole thing is that I knew where I wanted to go. And as long as you know where you want to go, it doesn't matter what you deal with, where you are. As long as you know, okay, I'm moving forward. And all people really want for the most part is to move forward. That's really what life is about, evolution. If you're not fruitful, you die. You know what I mean? So it's about moving forward. That's what comes down to. It's progress. So it's not about your mindset, but the thing is, it's not about getting rid of the negativity. It's about having a destination that forces you to abandon where you come from.
I love that. I really love that. And I think what really hit me is how you said if you go into a different environment, it changes you. It may help also to just make sure you're in an environment that propels you to positivity, to success. Surround yourself with people who are also as goal driven, and don't go back to the useless friends or a new group of useless friends and type of friends who would hold you down.
I mean, the thing is, all the time it's difficult. You can't just leave your group of friends, and find new friends. No, you have to improve yourself first. So isolation is the first thing that's going to happen. Before anything happens to you, you're going to be isolated. You're going to be alone, and that's where you have to improve. That's where you have to get better. So forget about friends; they will find you eventually. You're going to put it out there. People will be like, "Oh, like here you are. You found me because I'm doing what I'm doing." Do you get what I'm saying? I didn't go to you and call you and say, James, let's be friends. Like you're going to be isolated, and isolation is the gift. That's the gift. Everybody, Muhammad had his vision in the cave. Jesus had to be in the desert for 40 days. Everybody has to be isolated. That's the gift right there. You know what I mean? And that's what you have to improve. That's the hell you have to face. That's the darkness you have to face.
I think I found it so fascinating, the way you define what success is and how someone can be successful. For you, you don't see success as a necessary destination or outcome. It's more of the person you become or the state of mind or character. Do you mind expanding on that? I feel like it's very important for my audience.
Yeah, I had to learn the hard way that success in anything that I did came when I got rid of all the things that weren't working before. So it's not necessarily a thing of saying that, okay, cool, this is success and this is how it is. It's more like understand that it's a process. So it's like a farmer. A farmer knows that I need to plant the seed, I need to water the seed, that I need to make sure I wait and have fertilizer. And I don't know how farming works, but there's a process that works with it, right? But in the beginning, you don't know that. So maybe the first year you might miss out. Maybe the second you might miss out as well. You might get the watering wrong. The third, you might get how the planting works. You might get that wrong. The fertilizer might get wrong the fourth or fifth time. So only when you try all these many, many things and you have all these good things you've tried, do you realize, oh, eventually you get to what works. Okay? And then when you get to what works, now you've acquired the mindset of knowing that this is what works. That is what's called success. Okay? That's success. So success is a mindset you acquire, not a place you get. It's a mindset you acquire. Then you take that mindset and you bring it to everything that you do. You see what I'm saying? And that thing makes it successful. That is why if you are a 10-year farmer and I'm a first-year farmer or second-year farmer, and I tell you I'm making mistakes, you will come to my farm and fix it for me because you already know how it needs to be done. So nothing is wrong with the farm. It's my mindset. I don't have the keys in my mind, but you do. You see what I'm saying? So the issue isn't the farm; it's the person who tends the farm who has the issue. So everything in life is not necessarily the what the person is building or what they want to do, who they want to become. It's not that's not the issue. That's possible. It's their mind isn't adapted to it. They haven't practiced it enough to kind of get it to a point where it's right. So that's why success is a mindset. So that's why you will be successful when you're broke, because you must first acquire the mindset before you escape physically. You see what I'm saying?
I think it ties in with the next question. Actually, I wonder how it ties in with the next question, because let's say there's a goal, right? And we're moving towards the goal. But see, the thing is, for example, me, I'm a jack of all trades. I'm an opportunist of a sort. If there's a bag there, I run for it. If there's a bag there, I run for it. But none of these bags have anything necessary to do with the vision, and they all require time, energy, effort. I know you've written about focusing on one thing and letting that your intention and your effort grow that one thing, or grow that one goal, and to cultivate. What happens to people who feel like they're jack of all trades, or they have like three things they can't let go of, or they just want all those things to be part of their legacy?
You know, if you have 3 or 10 things or many things, you have to make sure you've got like the billions to kind of make it happen. If you do, then cool, you know, right? If you have the billions, then you can have all the different ideas and thoughts you want, because you've got billions. You don't need anybody. You've got capital. Everything is great. But if you have limited capital, you can't do everything, and nor can you do everything to the level that it requires for you to do it, for it to be a thing.
So would you advise someone to let opportunities go if it's not directly in line with their vision?
Like it's not necessarily about if it's not directly in line. It's that you're a person with only so many hours a day and so much energy and so much money. This is the thing. You start off with limitations. So limitation is the first thing to accept. So before you can go to a place where you have a limitless perspective, you start off with limitation, and you have to let that limitation discipline you. So you take this vision that you've got over there, you've got all these many ideas, whatever, but you have to narrow it down into a small tunnel, right? In that tunnel, you accept limitation, you impose limitation, discipline onto you, so you can accept and say, okay, cool. Out of all these many ideas, this one is the one that basically makes sense, the easiest for me to do, the cheapest for me to do, the one that will basically bring the returns. So you let that one through. And you focus your attention, you learn, you get better at that one improves, and that one becomes a thing, and then boom, it happens. Then the momentum you get from that one then allows you to do the second one. So now you're not saying you're not doing the other ones, you're just timing them in sequence. And then as time goes on, momentum happens, then you can say, okay, cool, I'm going to do that one, do that one, do that one, do that one. Like, that's how it goes. I wanted to do all things at the same time as, but I realized that you only win. Like, everything requires a certain amount of effort. Everything requires you to do something for so long for it to become a thing. You can't be a soccer player. You can't expect to be a soccer player, a basketball player, and a baseball player all in like 20 years. You can't do that. You have to, because everything's going to require you to allocate. Play soccer for the first 30 years of my life, and then I can maybe play golf for the next 30 or 20 years, because golf doesn't require you to be the specific athletic. It doesn't require you to be really athletic. You know what I mean? Then you can decide, oh, okay, cool. Then I can actually do whatever. But now if you want to play soccer and you want to play golf for the same time, it doesn't make sense. So if you have limited resources, limited time, limited whatever, you have to be able to say, I'm starting with this. So forget about purpose, because also purpose and where you get your money, sometimes it's two different things, right? So you have to also be able to realize that sometimes what your purpose doesn't necessarily get you paid. But you have to be able to then say, these other things might get me paid. So you can diversify between things. And that's what you want to do. But the thing is, it's how you invest. That, it's how you choose to invest and where you invest that makes whatever you do become a thing. But everything has a certain minimum level of requirement for it to win. And you have to pay that price fully. There's no 90% payment, then the other 10% I'll pay it later. No.
I love
so you
it,
have
man.
to do things one at a time. To get rich, you invest in one thing. And for you to stay rich, you must diversify.
It requires a lot of discipline and a lot of courage for you to say, this is the only thing I'm going to focus on now, and cut everything out.
You can't be a child forever. You can't be a child forever. You can't be full of potential and full of ideas forever, because that's the childlike state. Because children play with a toy, then let go of that toy, play with another toy, and whatever. You can't be that. You have to accept. You have to grow up. You can't be Peter Pan staying young forever. You have to grow up, right? And for you to do that, you have to move yourself into a narrow path that says, I am going to do this thing. I'm going to do that thing, and it's going to impose discipline onto you. That vision is going to impose discipline and say, this is what I'm going to do. This one thing I do. I'm going to do this thing, right? And you're going to do that in ignoring everything else, because what you focus on is just as important as what you choose to ignore, right?
Mm.
So you're going to focus on this thing, and that thing is going to define you. It's going to say, this is who this person is. This is who this person I'm coming to you for. And people are going to come to you for that specific thing. That's how they're going to define you, right? And then from there, you're going to go into a narrow tunnel. It's going to define you. Then when you eventually get that right, it's going to open up on the other side. It's going to open you up to a wider side. So you're going to accept limitation, then move to limitlessness. Do you see what I'm saying? It's only temporary.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't be an old child. You can't be a 40-year-old kid with potential, bro. You can't be 50 years with potential. You have to eventually, at some point, you got to get shit right. So the thing is, the world doesn't care whether you get it right or not. You just have to get it right. Especially if you're male. If you're male, no one gives a shit. At 30, you must have gotten something right.
The childlike sentence really hit me like a ton of bricks. That is so, so powerful. One of the things I really wanted to talk to you about is your perspective of adversary, because you managed to get 20 million rand for an investment for a particular deal that you wanted to get, and then, if I'm not mistaken, a week before that went through, everything fell apart, and that was like your life's bit. And I relate to that because I run three projects in my life. Two were successful, like I got the money, it ran its course. But the third one, when I was thinking about sustainability and or perhaps making money when I'm not there, it completely flopped. Like I lost money, I lost time, I lost effort, I lost opportunity cost and whatnot. And even though I was wise enough to see the shortcuts that I took and take the lessons away from that, it still took me a year for me to bounce back. How can one, with your perspective of understanding what adversity is, shorten the time span of them coming back and bouncing back, or and just like explore your perspective of adversary?
Um, Look, it's once again, it's you're going to make mistakes, and that's the whole beautiful thing about it. Everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes you make a mistake, and it's like, oh wow, that's because that's how you learn. That's how you acquire the mindset of success. I said to you, it's iteration. You keep playing and you keep changing. You keep doing this and doing that. Eventually, you because that's how it is when you play a game. You play a game, and you don't play a game and you don't die. You die like, oh, there's an enemy. And next time I come, I need to die. It's like, when you come to the next stage, you have to learn by failing. It's just the way that it goes. So adversity, it's, one thing also, do you play games? You play
Yeah,
video games, or did you play?
100%.
So one thing about video games that's interesting is that video games let you know one thing is that if you encounter enemies in a game, you're going the right direction.
Mm.
Right? So you're not stuck, because if you're not experiencing any enemies, you know that you're stuck because you've killed everybody in that stage.
Mm.
So it means now you're stuck. So when you experience enemies, which is very funny, because when you're playing a game, you want enemies to kind of defeat. You want to kill people. That's what you want. But when it comes to life, which is the same process, you kind of want to avoid it. But the thing is, you can only get better. You only get better as the enemies get stronger. So it's like I play fighting games. I play whichever. Like I'm really good at Tekken. Like I'll kick anyone's ass in Tekken, right? But the thing is, when I play people that are really good, it makes me want to be better. That's adversity. You get what I'm saying? And for me to beat that person, I need to get better. That's just how it goes. I need to get better for me to beat that person. So the stronger the challenge, when you're experiencing challenge, it's not a matter of saying, how do I get through this, whatever. It's more about understanding that this thing is there and it's making you better. For you to get positive, you're going to get better before whether you like it or not. It's going to happen. So it's not about how you make that process quicker or not, because depending on how obsessed you are about what you want to do is going to determine how long you are where you are. So if you need to get out of this hole right now, you're going to make a way to get out of this hole. Whereas if you're comfortable and it's like not a big hit, you're going to take some time. You'll be like, okay, I took my hit there, So it really comes down to how badly what you want. That's why I say to you that it's important that you've got that destination in mind, because that's going to push you to go and say, actually, I hate my situation. The more you hate your situation, the more it's going to make you work. You see what I'm saying?
100%.
So adversity, Shakespeare said, sweet are the uses of adversity, which means that, you can use adversity. It's not a matter of saying that circumstances are good or bad. They're just circumstances. When you look at them from the outside in, you see that these are all things in front of you. But the thing is, when you realize that everything can work for you, even the good and the bad things work for you, then you realize that it's not good or bad anymore. This is just a part of the process. It's just, you need the rains as much as you need the winter. You need both. You need them both. You can't just say, I want summer all the time. You have to say, well, during the winter, people think that the trees die. They don't die. They actually reallocate energy to leaves, to roots. It means that they grow during the winter. And in the next summer, there's more leaves in the tree. But you don't know that the tree is reallocating water during the winter. That's why the leaves fall off. But it's getting bigger during the winter. It's a process. But you don't see it because you don't see leaves. That's the problem. But the next summer, all of a sudden, there's more leaves, there's more fruit. Why? Because during winter, it expanded.
And I think that perspective is powerful, because I was just so amazed of how, when you thought of the product you wanted to sell, how it took 6 and 7 years, 6 or 7 years, you can correct me, from the conceptual idea for it to be on the shelves in pick and pays and in airports and whatnot. And I can imagine the amount of rejections and the no's and the hurdles you had to jump through, but still have that burning fire, and that understanding the process of where I'm going to drive you. And I think that's just amazing. Cool. So the next, I think it ties in with the next question perfectly. So I'm a huge believer of that the decisions you make are very important, because it can shape the trajectory of your life. I mean, you made a huge decision. Like, after getting a degree, you could have gone to the corporate world, you could have had a wage, you could have settled, but you made the decision to take the leap, or to take the risk and pursue what you wanted to pursue, or to pursue your vision. My question is, how do you know if you're making the right decision, or how do you know if this big decision is the right move? Because for me, there's some moments where my intuition nudges me that it's this side, and I know, but there are other moments where it's just an option, just options in front of me, and I don't know where to go. And I'm actually in a crossroad of big decisions right now. So how do you know that this decision is the right one? How did you know not going to corporate was the right decision for you?
It's the decision that scares you that you must make. It's the one that's most scariest to make is the one you must make, because the other ones, you know how to do, you can handle it. So I wasn't scared of going to corporate. I was scared of not doing what I wanted to do. And I was like, cool. I told you, above all else, my destination was always freedom. So the products, everything I've done has been the transmission of me doing this. It's been the vehicle for me achieve my freedom. So that's why for me, it wasn't win or lose. It was win or die. That's what it came down from. So it's the decision that you have decisions in front of you. And the thing is, even the word decision, it comes from the Latin word "cide," meaning to kill. So "cide" means kill. It's where you get pesticide, herbicide, whatever. It means to kill. So a decision is not a choice. It's an elimination of choices, and you're left with the one that you want, right? So basically, it's the decision that scares you that you need to make, because that's the one you haven't grown in. It means you need to grow in that scenario. So for me, I knew I had a degree. I could apply at this company, but I was like, man, what? I didn't think to myself, what scares me? This is just hindsight speaking, but I knew I wanted this thing. I wanted it. Like, I could feel that I desire freedom. I want to be able to make my own choices. I want to be able to drive a Lamborghini. That's what I want. I don't care who says what to me. And as a result of that, I realized that I couldn't get this way. So a vision does two things for you. It lets you know which way will get you there. A GPS, you say, I want to go from here to here. GPS says, cool, this way will get you there. Then it eliminates everything else that won't get you there. That's what it was. So for me, it became easy because I was able to redefine, and I said, I'm going this direction, and that way is not going to get me there. It was easy for me because I knew what I wanted. And I was honest with myself, and I didn't care who says what to me. So it's the decision that scares you, which determines the direction that you're going to experience growth in. And that's how you make a decision. It's like, which one excites you and scares you at the same time? Because I was scared. I didn't know what to do. But I was like, man, if this shit works out, wow. Wow. Like, if this shit works out, I'm going to be so dope. Like, you know what I mean? And that's the one. Because ultimately, you have to be excited about reaching that destination as well. It's like, you got to be excited about it. Like, what's the point? Why would you be in the desert and then not be excited about going to the promised land? Why would you leave Egypt in the first place? Just stay in Egypt then. It's much nicer. There's pyramids. I mean, hey, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's so interesting that you use fear as a compass to where you're supposed to go or which direction you're supposed to go. I've never heard that before. That's truly amazing.
Because think about it. It's like when you meet a girl, right? Everything inside of you says you should talk to her, but you're scared. It's like, what if she doesn't, you know what I mean? You're scared, but you want to do it. Like, you actually want, so it's letting you know, bro, text her, call her, walk up to her. And when you talk to her, sometimes it works out and you realize, oh, how was I even scared? Why was I even like so terrified of speaking to this person? But everything inside of you said, no, don't do it. But then it was like, but we actually want to do it. Because you imagine, you fantasize about how it'll be like to be with her. And everything. And that's what you do, right? And that thing forces you to go there, but you're scared. So it's not a decision that it's not like, should I talk to my friend that I know or the girl that I really want to talk to? You don't want to talk to the girl that you don't know. That's fear.
That changes the narrative of fear so much in such a positive life. I love it, dude. As you know, my channel is a law of attraction channel. I'm aware that there are a lot more universal laws, and you can use any one of them to help you answer this question. But in your perspective, what is the law of attraction, and how can someone knowing that the law of attraction exists, how can they implement that in their lives? More specifically, like, are there practices that you do? You spoke about vision board, scripting, affirmations. What has helped you reach your goal thus far, as far as the law of attraction?
The law of attraction basically is just a matter of, you attract what you are. And that's really what it is. It's like energy attracts like energy. The thing is, a lot of people just kind of get complicated with it, right? It's like this, is that if you are going to go and you must decide on, you have got this much money and you want to set up an office, whatever, you want to set up some sort of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
What you do is that if you want to be a mechanic, you go up and you say, this is James's mechanic, right? And you put out a car or a picture of a car and you show people that you can actually fix things. Put your number there and that's what it is. So when people call you, they're going to call you because they want their cars to get fixed, right? Mm. So the law of attraction just says that what you put out, what you do, how you define yourself is what's going to determine how people then respond to you. That's all that it means. Nothing hectic about it. So attraction means that you must define yourself. Okay? I don't get bank deposits from the EPL because I don't play soccer for them. I can't expect that. It doesn't make sense for me, right? But the thing is, what I put out is going to attract the people who are for me. So because you attract people that you attract two kinds of people. You attract what you are. So, but you attract, in terms of you attracting what you are, you attract people that are like you, and you attract people that need what you have. So it's almost like, if I'm successful, I'm attracting people that are successful. They become my friends. But I'm also attracting people that want to be successful at the same time. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it is. So it's how you define yourself that determines how people relate to you. That's all that it is. So if you want people to come towards you and you want to use the law of attraction, it's a matter of saying, first define yourself, and then don't be surprised that people come to you. I'm not surprised that people like you hit me up. That's why I know. I'm used to it, because if people hit me up and say to me, oh dude, can you please can you come to an interview on the radio? I'm aware of it. So I'm attracting things that I know because I've defined it. I said I've written a book, I'm an author. Boom. But at the same time, I'm getting phone calls of someone asking me about how to fix heaters. That's not what I put out there. The ones that I know, that I don't even know how to fix it, so I don't care about that. And that's all it comes down to. So the law of attraction is saying that whatever you define yourself to be, expect you're going to get that. But the more energy and time you put into that and you build that, the more you're going to keep attracting the same thing to you, and those that are like you and that are opposite to you. That's how it works. So that it's a combination of law of cause and effect, and it's a law of polarity and the law of rhythm. It makes use of 4 laws, and the law of inspired action as well as the law of correspondence. So you see all these laws come together at the same time.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. And for anyone watching this, I would suggest you read the Kabbalah for in-depth knowledge or better knowledge about the universal laws. Okay, cool. So I told my book club that I'm meeting you, and I open up the floor to any questions they would have. And the first question is,
wait, is this happening right now?
No. No, I had pre-done it before the whole interview. So the first question was, your life seems to be full of serendipity. It seems to be full of, allow me to say, positive coincidences, even though there's no coincidences because of the law of cause and effect. But it just seems like each and every step, from the people you met, like the people who flew you out overseas for your whole product, and the chemist or the manufacturers, you just kept meeting the right people at the right time. The question centers around, how do you develop trust? How do you just lie and trust that the how is not necessarily about me? I may not be a chemist to know that I want to know how this product will come together. How do you develop that trust that I'm just going to dive, and somehow, some way, I'm just going to bump into this person who's going to refer me to that person who's going to refer me to that person?
Well, the the first thing is you have to be fully committed. So you have to close off all the doors behind you. So it's like a story of this general who was going to go. They were going to go fight another army that hasn't been defeated. So think of like Troy, for instance, right?
Yeah.
These people have never been defeated. And they went to go fight these people. And then as they arrived at the beach, the general told the captain, listen, now that we're all here, burn all the ships, right? And the captain was like, bro, why are you, like, what's wrong with you? Why would you burn all the ships? Like, why would we do this? Because how are we going to get home? He's like, yeah, so now we're either going to win or we're going to die, right? Forget about going to lose because there's no retreat, right? So you have to close off the doors first. Once you close off the door and you close off where you can come from, so you give yourself another option but to succeed, you will succeed. So it's like if you're put yourself into a corner, you will succeed. It's like, when you're studying for an exam, right? You've got 2 weeks or a month to the exam before the exam comes. So you don't study a month before, you take your time, right? But 2 days before this exam comes, you're studying. You're not sleeping.
Everything goes
in your life. You know what I mean? You're not sleeping. You're pulling all-nighters, because why? You've put yourself into a corner where you can't do anything else but study. You don't care about anything else. You've eliminated. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how your mind works. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to close off all the doors. There's no escape routes. Then see what you do after that. You'll see your beast come out. You'll see the animal within you come out. That's what happens, right? And then from there, you'll also know that you're an animal. You're a divine being, not necessarily divine, but you're an animal that has instincts. Every animal on the planet knows what to do, when to do it. That's what it is. They know. But you also accept that you're also part of that nature. You have to know that about yourself. So as a result of that, you're going to be led by your instincts when you've got no other place but to go. So you have to trust that. That's what Ralph Waldo Emerson says, that the implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is in the constitution of the creature that feels it. It means that in the constitution of the creature that feels it, if you feel hungry, there must be food out there for you to eat. You might not be able to access it, but you know that if you feel hungry, there must be food to meet that hunger, because the demand, every demand in terms of desire must be made by supply in terms of experience.
Mind blowing, dude. Mind blowing. Who's the author of that? I'd love I'd love to really catch up and read on his material. That's truly mind blowing, dude. The second question from the book club was the issue of protecting your dream and your vision. It comes from the idea from mastermind. Like when you have an idea or a goal, who do you tell? Do you attract it better if you just keep it within yourself? Or do you attract it better when you go tell your parents, when you go tell your best friend or whatnot? With the idea, the energy around the idea, what's the most effective way to go about it?
Yeah, but if you're not selling it, you're not selling it. You know what I'm saying? So people like to say, oh, real people move like the silent G in lasagna. It's like work in silence, let's just say make the noise. Okay, cool, that's great. It only works if you're a celebrity and people are expecting you. Like now you're Beyonce and you keep quiet about your album and you drop it in the middle of the night and people are like, oh, Beyonce dropped it. But if no one knows who you are, no one knows what you've got, what's the point? Why are you keeping quiet? You tell every person, you tell every motherfucker about your product, everybody. It doesn't matter what they say. You tell everybody, you put it out there, you make as much noise as possible, because you don't know who comes to help you. You don't know. You don't know which door's going to open for you. You don't know who's going to tell whoever. People will be like, oh, James is crazy. That's fine. But for every person who says James is crazy, there's one person who says, yo, bro, this person, I need to hook this guy up with somebody else. Right? And then it's like, boom. Then forget about all those people who spoke shit about you. It's that one person who says, bro, I see you. Because law of attraction, you are putting out something and it's therefore going to be reciprocated by somebody else. Every action has an equal, similar, and opposite reaction. Newton 3. It's not all magical. It's just understanding. Look at these things like gravity. Like if you follow a building, you're going to die. If you don't follow the building, you're not going to die. So it's like, if you have an idea of a product, you tell everybody about it. You just talk about it. You get excited about it. It's enthusiasm. You get excited about it. It's like, yeah, bro, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. You get excited. That's what I did. I was excited. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to do it. I was excited.
Amazing, dude. Honestly.
That's why my hoodie says, because I'm dope. You see? Because I'm dope.
Last question, and this is just for me. In 1 minute, a minute or so, I have a young sister who's 15 and a young brother who's 17. If they had 1 minute with you as a mentor, and they ask you, what is that one thing I need to make it in life? What would you say to them?
Be crazy. Be crazy. That's it. If you want to make it in life, you have to be crazy. If people say that you're crazy, you're doing the right thing, because if you don't stand out, that means you're fitting in. And you don't want to fit in. Fitting in is suicide. So you have to be able to stand out. You have to be colorful. Be as colorful as you want. Be as elaborate as you want, because that's ultimately what matters. You're standing out. So that's what it is. I tell people, like I think Steve Jobs said, stay hungry, stay foolish. Like that's what it is. You have to be willing to be crazy. Stand out. Don't be afraid to be weird. Don't be afraid to do that. Like own that weirdness, because that's your keys. That's like your keys. It's your gift telling you, dude, you're free. You're not held back. You're not afraid of who you are, because everybody puts on a mask. Everyone puts on a mask.
I wanna thank you for being you. I wanna thank you for choosing not to go corporate. I want to thank you for allowing your purpose to shine. I want to thank you for teaching people. I want to thank you for our time today. I want to thank you for being an example. I'm very big on gratitude. If there's something I want to do in this interview, is just to thanks a lot, man. Thank you for being you. Where can people find you, dude?
At Master Louis, Master Louis _ on Instagram and Facebook, Master Louis. Otherwise, type the mastery code on Google, you'll find it. The mastery code, you'll find the book there, you'll find everything there. Book is available on Amazon, globally, SA, whichever you want to go. So Master Louis, the mastery code, boom, it's all there.
Any seminars ahead, or is lockdown?
No, I actually just had my 2 seminars now in the last 2 months. I actually put up the free one on my YouTube channel regarding how to monetize your creativity. So check that out. That's free.
I'm going to put the link in the description.
Hey?
Then I'm going to attach the link to that in this.
Yeah, okay. So that's the one I decided to, I felt like I needed to make it free. So I made it free. So people have it over there. And the next one, I'm deciding what it's going to be about, but that's what it is. But get the book, mastery code. Oh, here's a copy right here. Cool. Get that. All the keys right there. Can you see? Boom. Unlock.
All the keys.
There's Egypt. There's the pyramids over there. Boom.
Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. Wow, that was such an insightful interview. I hope you guys learned a lot. I sure learned from this. You can catch me on the Diary from Honest James Maserio.